Hey guys, tonight we're pulling an all-nighter on the graveyard shift. The rain taps a lazy Morse code on the squad car's roof, each drop catching the blue-red flicker of the light bar before sliding down the windshield like tears on a crime scene photo. I'm parked under the busted sodium lamp at 3rd and Mercer, engine idling just loud enough to keep the heater alive. The dashboard clock frozen at 0:07 because the precinct's IT guy still hasn't fixed the sink. Radio static hums low, a white noise lullaby that every beat cop knows by heart. Somewhere down the block, a loose manhole cover clangs when the wind kicks it. Clang, pause, clang, like footsteps that can't decide whether to approach or retreat. You probably won't make it to dawn after this one. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop your city and local time in the comments. Let's see how many of us are awake while the sane world sleeps. Now, dim the lights, maybe crack open a window for that midnight fog, and let's hit the streets together. Dispatch crackles awake at 0:12. The voice clipped and familiar, Sergeant Ramirez, working her 3rd double in a row. Unit 14, respond to 819 Caldwell Warehouse. Possible 10 to 103, suspicious noise. Caller hung up, no callback. A 10 to 103 means someone's poking around where they shouldn't, usually kids or junkies looking for copper pipe. Caldwell's been boarded up since the '09 arson that cooked 3 squatters. City condemned it, chained the doors, slapped a red tag on the roll-up. Routine. I thumb the mic, 14 on route, ETA 4 minutes. The wipers swipe once, clearing a half-moon of clarity before the rain smears it again. I ease off the curb, tires hissing through puddles that reflect the precinct's distant glow like broken mirrors. Caldwell rises at the end of the block, a brick corpse under ivy and graffiti. My headlights carve tunnels through the chain link, catching the yellow "do not enter" tape flapping like a tongue. I kill the engine, grab the mag light, and step out. The air smells of wet rust and old smoke. 20 years, and the place still carries that charred plastic ghost. Boot soles crunch on gravel as I circle to the side entrance. Someone's peeled the plywood back just enough for a body to slip through. Fresh prime marks, bright aluminum scars against the weathered gray. Curiosity nudges me first, the same itch that made me volunteer for midnights when the academy asked for shift preferences. I slide inside. The beam sweeps across conveyor skeletons and pigeon shit. Temperature drops 10 degrees, my breath plumes. Somewhere deeper, metal pings. Ping, ping, like a pipe expanding in cold, except the rhythm's off, almost conversational. I key the shoulder mic, 14 on scene, entering structure. Static answers, thick as wool. I move forward, light jittering over graffiti, names, dates, a crude devil face with eyes scratched out. The pinging stops. Silence presses so hard my ears ring. Then footsteps. Not mine. Light, quick, rubber on concrete, coming from the old loading dock. I swing the beam. Nothing but shadows stacked like crates. Police. Identify yourself. My voice bounces, comes back smaller. The footsteps pause, then resume, circling. I follow the sound past rusted machinery, past a scorched office, door hanging off one hinge. The air thickens with that campfire smell again, stronger now, like someone struck a match in my lungs. Fear slides in, cool and professional, adrenaline sharpening the edges of everything. I draw my sidearm, keep the flashlight above it in a tight Harry's hold, just like the range taught us. The loading dock yawns open, a black rectangle where the roll-up door used to be. Moonlight spills in, silver on broken glass. The footsteps stop at the threshold. I step into the light and see prints. Small, bare, pressed into the soot as if someone walked through wet ash. They lead to the far wall and vanish. No exit, no scuff marks, no drag. Just end. I crouch, touch one. Cold. Too cold. The soot's dry, but the print glistens like it's still wet. My pulse drums in my ears. I think some crimes were never meant to be solved. I straighten, sweep the light across the wall. Someone scratched letters into the brick, fresh and deep. Officer needs assistance. My call sign stenciled beneath it, 14. My stomach flips. I didn't radio that yet. I reach for the mic again. Dispatch, 14. The radio shrieks, a single high note that makes me yank the earpiece out. When I jam it back, Ramirez's voice leaks through, faint, underwater. Repeat. Caldwell. 1987. Do not. Then nothing. I backpedal, boots slipping on loose bolts. The temperature plunges again. Frost feathers across the inside of my flashlight lens. I pivot, beam cutting frantic arcs, and that's when I see her. A girl, maybe 12, standing where the prints end. Barefoot, hospital gown hanging off bone-thin shoulders, skin luminous like moonlight on marble. She wasn't there a heartbeat ago. Her eyes, black, no whites, lock on mine. She raises one hand, palm up, and the soot print nearest me darkens, spreads, becomes a perfect handprint the size of an adult's. Mine. I stumble back, heel catching a pallet. The girl tilts her head, listening to something I can't hear. Then she whispers, not with her mouth, but inside my skull. You're late, officer. The voice is a child's, but the cadence belongs to someone older, tired, resigned. I raise the Glock. Stay where you are. She smiles, small, sad, and steps backward into the wall. Not through it. Into it. Brick ripples like water, swallows her whole. The handprint remains, pulsing faintly, as if breathing. My radio coughs to life on its own. Unit 14, return to Caldwell. 1987. Same loop, same static, same child's whisper underneath. I bolt for the exit, plywood scraping my shoulders, rain hitting my face like thrown gravel. I slam the squad door, key the ignition. The dashboard clock now reads 0:07 again. Same minute I left the curb. I stare at it, breath fogging the windshield. The rearview mirror shows the warehouse door sliding shut by itself, chain rattling into place, padlock clicking home though no hand touches it. I peel out, tires spitting water, heart jackhammering against my vest. In the mirror, the girl stands beneath the sodium lamp, gown untouched by rain, watching me go. She lifts the same hand in a slow wave. The light bar strobes across her face, red, blue, red, until the fog swallows her. Dispatch tries again. Unit 14, acknowledge. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. 14 clear of Caldwell. No suspect located. Returning to patrol. Line number 1 of the shift. The clock flips to 0:08. Progress, I guess. But the soot handprint? I glance at my right palm. A perfect negative image clings to the skin, black, cold, indelible. I scrub it on my thigh. Doesn't fade. The radio hisses once more, soft as a sigh, and I swear I hear that girl counting under the static. 1, 2, 3. I crank the volume down, roll the window for air, and drive into the fog, chasing the next call that hasn't come yet. The city's awake now, and it knows my name. The fog clings to my windshield like a second skin as I merge back onto the main drag. The squad car's tires humming a low dirge over rain-slick asphalt. That soot mark on my palm itches now, a faint tingle like static electricity building under the skin. I flex my fingers, glance at it under the dashboard glow. Still there, black and perfect, refusing to smudge. The radio stays quiet for a block, then two, as if the city itself is holding its breath. I pass the all-night diner on 5th, neon sign buzzing open in fractured red. A couple of truckers hunched over coffee inside, oblivious to the graveyard shift's secrets. Curiosity pulls at me again, sharper this time. What was that girl? Hallucination from too many doubles? Or something the old-timers whisper about in the locker room? Cases that echo, suspects who don't stay buried. I thumb the volume up, half expecting that child's counting to resume. Instead, the static swells, a white noise ocean with undercurrents. Then a voice breaks through, not Ramirez, not dispatch protocol. It's gravelly, male, laced with an accent I can't place. Old Brooklyn maybe, or further east. Responding to Caldwell, suspect in custody. 1987. The year hits like a gut punch. 1987. That's when the original fire happened, the one that gutted the warehouse before the '09 blaze. I know because every rookie gets the precinct tour. The basement archives, yellowed clippings pinned to corkboards like trophies. Realistic anchor there. The fire was ruled arson. Suspected drifter named Elias Crowe vanished before trial. Case file still open, gathering dust in row 7, shelf C. I key the mic. Dispatch. This is 14. Confirm last transmission. Silence. Then the static parts again. Elias Crowe. Evading. Officer down. My name. Not my badge number. My full name, whispered like a secret. Fear coils in my chest, tight as handcuffs clicking shut. I swerve into an empty lot behind the old mill, kill the lights, and stare at the radio console. The green LCD flickers, numbers jumbling. 013 becomes 87:00, then snaps back. I pop the glove box. Rummage for the spare earpiece, plug it in. Better to keep this private, away from the open cab where the fog might listen. The voice resumes, clearer now, as if the speaker's leaning over my shoulder. You shouldn't have left her there, officer. She's been waiting. Her, the girl. I twist the dial, scanning frequencies, nothing but hiss on the backups. Like the whole system's gone dark except for this one channel. I think back to the academy lectures on radio procedures. Always log anomalies, report interference. But this isn't some ham radio bleed over. It's targeted, personal. The mythic creeps in, a haunted broadcast, they call it in the rumors. Officers on midnights swear by it. Dead suspects dialing in from cold cases, whispering clues or curses through the ether. I never bought it, chalked it up to sleep deprivation and bad coffee. Until now, the voice shifts, becomes two layered over each other. Crow's gravel and the girl's whisper, harmonizing. Come back. Finish the patrol. The soot on my palm warms, pulses in time with the words. I scrub it harder, skin reddening, but it spreads, tendrils like veins inching toward my wrist. The rearview mirror fogs from the inside, my breath not touching it. I wipe a circle clear with my sleeve. Nothing behind me but empty seats and the cage divider's shadow. Then a flicker, a man's silhouette in the back, hunched, wrists bound in spectral cuffs that glow faintly blue. Elias Crowe? I spin, flashlight beam stabbing the dark. Empty. But the radio laughs now, low and wet, like phlegm in a smoker's throat. You see me now, don't you? In the mirror, in the files. Fear spikes to revelation. This isn't just a voice. It's a loop, pulling me in. I grab the handheld from the dash, switched to channel 9, the encrypted one for SWAT. This is 14, requesting backup at. Before I finish, the handheld sparks, hot in my grip. I drop it, smoke curls from the speaker grill. The main radio takes over, volume maxing without my touch. 1987 report. Girl found in warehouse, DOA. Suspect Elias Crowe, at large. Last seen. It recites the case like a bedtime story. Details I shouldn't know without pulling the file. Her name was Anna, 12, runaway from foster care. Burned, but not from fire. Cold burns, frostbite in July. Crowe claimed she was already there, waiting for him. The transmission cuts to static, then her voice alone. He's calling your name next. My name again, drawn out, echoing in the cab like it's bouncing off the warehouse walls all over again. I slam the car into drive, peel out of the lot, gravel pinging the undercarriage. The fog thickens, street lamps dimming to amber halos. I head for the precinct, needing walls, lights, other badges around me. But the radio won't quit. It follows frequencies as I switch, a persistent shadow. Turn around. Caldwell needs you. The soot mark burns now, a brand. I glance down. It's shaped like a key, ornate, old-fashioned. Revelation hits. This isn't random. The girl, Crowe, they're linked to me somehow, to this shift. I think some crimes were never meant to be solved, but maybe they're meant to solve us. The precinct looms ahead, brutalist concrete under floodlights. I park crooked in the lot, badge the door, and hustle inside. The desk sergeant, Murphy, chewing a toothpick, nods without looking up. Rough one, kid. I mutter, yeah, head for the stairs. The basement archives call to me, a gravitational pull. Fluorescent hum greets me as I descend, boots echoing on metal treads. Row 7, shelf C. The file's there, thicker than I remember, edges curled like it's been handled recently. I pull it, dust motes dancing in the beam from my penlight. Inside, photos yellowed, reports typed on old IBMs. Anna's face stares back, same luminous skin, same black eyes. And Crowe's mugshot, hollow cheeks, gaze that pierces the paper. Notes in the margin, handwritten. Suspect claims radio contact from victim post-mortem. My hand shakes. The soot key on my palm aligns with a sketch in the file. A warehouse key, lost evidence. The radio on my belt crackles to life, even though it's off. You found it. Now listen. Anna's whisper again, closer, as if she's in the stairwell behind me. I flip pages frantically. Witness statements, all redacted but one, an officer's log from '87. My grandfather's name. He worked this case, retired broken, never talked about it. Died whispering about voices on the airwaves. The file slips, papers scatter. As I kneel to gather them, the basement lights flicker, bulbs popping one by one. Darkness rushes in, textured like fog. Footsteps on the stairs, not mine. Slow, deliberate, handcuffs jingling faintly. I back into a shelf, heart in my throat. The radio sighs. He's here for you now. Curiosity evaporated long ago, fear's a live wire. I bolt up the stairs, file clutched under my arm, slamming the door behind me. Murphy glances up. You okay? Look like you saw a ghost. I force a laugh. Just old cases. But in the reflection of the precinct window, Crowe's face overlays mine, smiling. The soot key throbs. I step outside, rain starting again, tapping code on the squad roof. The radio hums awake as I slide behind the wheel. Next call, officer. Alley off 7th, Shadow reported. That same faint static from the dispatch radio builds, promising more. The precinct door hisses shut behind me as I step back into the rain. The file under my arm heavy as a confession. Water beads on the manila cover, smearing the faded ink label. Case 87 to 492, arson/homicide. My grandfather's signature scrawls across the bottom, a looping J that matches the one on my own reports. I slide into the squad car, the seat leather creaking under my weight, and toss the file onto the passenger side. It lands open, Anna's photo staring up at the dome light, her black eyes seeming to track me as I start the engine. The radio stays mercifully silent for the drive, but that faint static hums just below audible, like a whisper behind a closed door. I head north on 7th, toward the alley call, wipers thumping time like a heartbeat too slow. Curiosity gnaws at me again, persistent as the itch from the soot key on my palm, now fully formed, edges sharp as if etched with a blade. Why my grandfather? He never mentioned Caldwell, not once during those fishing trips where he'd spin yarns about foot chases and bar fights. But the file hints at more. His notes trail off mid-sentence, as if he stopped writing because something stopped him. I glance at the rear view. Nothing but fog-shrouded taillights from a distant semi. The alley off 7th is a narrow vein between warehouses, the kind where dealers sling and hookers turn tricks after last call. Dispatch would log it as a 10 to 37, suspicious person, standard procedure, approach with lights off, observe from cover, call for backup if it smells wrong. I park a block away, kill the engine, and pocket the file's key pages, Anna's autopsy, Crowe's statement. The rain eases to a mist, dampening my collar as I slip down the sidewalk, boots soft on cracked pavement. Street lamps cast long shadows that twist like suspects in interrogation. The alley mouth gapes dark, garbage bins hulking like sentinels. A flashlight beam would give me away, so I rely on the ambient glow, eyes adjusting to the murk. Something moves at the far end, a shadow detaching from the wall, elongated, human-shaped but wrong, limbs too fluid. Police, step out where I can see you. My voice carries, echoes back distorted, like it's coming from underwater. The shadow pauses, then glides deeper into the alley. I follow, hand on my holster, curiosity shifting to the prickly edge of caution. Graffiti tags the bricks, gang sigils, lovers' initials, and one fresh scrawl. Officer needs assistance, same as the warehouse. My badge number etched below. Fear grips now, cold fingers on my spine. I draw the Glock, sweep the alley with the mag light. Beam catches a figure at the dead end. Tall, coat flapping in wind that isn't blowing, face obscured by a fedora brim. Elias Crowe? The profile matches the mugshot. Hollow cheeks, stooped shoulders. He turns, slowly, and the light reflects off eyes that aren't there, just sockets pooling shadow. He whispers, voice carrying without volume, the files know. Then he steps sideways into the brick, body folding like paper, vanishing with a faint pop of displaced air. The wall shimmers, settles. I approach, touch the spot. Cold, damp, but solid. No seam, no trick. Mythic impossibility. A ghost suspect, walking through walls like cased notes through time. I holster the weapon, breath ragged, and scan the ground. Footprints in the puddle. Mine, overlapping another set. Larger, boot-heeled, leading to the wall and stopping. The soot key on my palm burns hotter, as if recognizing kin. Revelation crashes in. This isn't just haunting. It's personal, threaded through my bloodline. My grandfather's case, now mine, looping like bad radio feedback. I back out of the alley, rain picking up again, tapping insistent code on my cap. The squad car waits, doors unlocked though I swear I secured them. Inside, the files spread across the dash, pages rearranged, not how I left them. Anna's photo on top, but altered. Her gown smudged with soot fingerprints, tiny hands that matched the print from Caldwell. Below it, a new page, typed fresh. My own report from tonight, timestamp 007, detailing the warehouse call. But I haven't filed it yet. I slam the door, lock it, and stare. The radio crackles. Unit 14, return to precinct. Archives, not dispatch. Anna's voice, overlaid with Crowe's gravel. I think some crimes were never meant to be solved, but perhaps they solve themselves, page by page. I drive back, tires hydroplaning on curves, the file whispering as wind riffles the edges. The precinct lot's empty now, graveyard shift winding down, most units docked. I badge in again, Murphy gone, his toothpick on the desk like a breadcrumb. The stairwell to the basement yawns, lights flickering as I descend, boots echoing louder than before, as if answering steps join from below. The archives smell of mildew and old ink, rows of metal shelves stretching into gloom. Fluorescent tubes buzz, casting stark shadows that shift when I blink. Row 7, Shelf C. The Caldwell file slot gapes empty. I left it in the car? No, I carried it back. Panic edges in. I sweep the beam. Files rustle on their own, papers sliding like snakes. A drawer creaks open 3 rows over. I approach, heart thudding against my ribs. Inside, my personnel file, pulled from HR upstairs. How? Dust undisturbed, but pages flipped to my academy intake. Next of kin, grandfather listed, with a redacted note. Prior involvement, case 87 to 492. More rustling, shelves vibrating faintly. Files topple in sequence, forming a path deeper into the stacks. I follow, curiosity reborn amid the fear, flashlight beam trembling. At the end, a cleared table under a single bulb. Spread out, the Caldwell file merged with mine. Pages interleave, Anna's autopsy next to my medical eval, Crowe's statement annotated with my handwriting. But I didn't write this. Words appear as I watch, ink blooming like blood and water. You were there. 1987 late. The soot key pulses, and I press my palm to the table. It fits a faint outline burned into the wood, unlocking something. The bulb dims, shadows lengthening into shapes. A girl by the shelf, barefoot. A man in the corner, cuffed wrists dangling. They don't move, but their presence presses, air thickening to syrup. Anna whispers, "Grandpa left it for you." Crowe adds, "Finish the patrol." Fear peaks, a wave crashing. I grab the merged file, bolt for the stairs. Lights pop behind me, darkness chasing. I burst into the lobby, slam the basement door. Murphy's back, coffee in hand. "You again?" "Files biting tonight." I nod, clutch the papers. Outside, dawn should tease the horizon, but the sky's still midnight black, clock stuck at 007. In the squad car, the file hums faintly, pages warm. The radio sighs. Next scene. Sealed site. That same faint static from the dispatch radio swells, carrying echoes of footsteps down the archive's aisles. I drive into the fog, the soot key now a map on my skin, veins tracing routes to old crimes. The city's veins pulse with it, alleys and warehouses connected like a nervous system gone wrong. Revelation lingers. I'm not patrolling. I'm the suspect, circling my own unsolved case. The fog thickens as I pull away from the precinct again. The merged file on the passenger seat, now a silent passenger itself. Pages still warm under my fingertips like a body not yet cooled. Rain patters on the roof in uneven bursts, mimicking the static that lingers in my radio. That same faint hum from dispatch weaving through the silence like a thread pulling me forward. The soot key on my palm has evolved, veins of black tracing up my forearm now, faint but insistent, mapping routes I don't recognize yet. I flex my hand on the wheel, the mark throbbing in time with the wiper's swipe. The city's arteries narrow here on the east side. Warehouses giving way to tenements with fire escapes rusting like old badges. Curiosity tugs me toward the next whisper. The radio hasn't called it yet, but I feel it coming, a pressure behind my eyes like the onset of a migraine. Then it crackles. Unit 14, 10 to 37 in progress. Alley off 12th and Vine. Shadowy figure, possible prowler. Ramirez's voice this time, real and clipped, grounding me in procedure. A 10 to 37 is textbook. Approach quietly, assess from distance, radio position before engaging. I acknowledge, voice steady despite the chill settling in my gut. Vine's a bad stretch, drug dens upstairs, alleys below where evidence washes away with the runoff. I park 2 blocks out, under a flickering street lamp that buzzes like an interrogation room bulb. The merged file stays in the car. I can't risk it getting wet, not with those blooming words still fresh in my mind. I step out, mist curling around my boots, gravel crunching soft as I move toward the alley. The mouth of it yawns between 2 boarded-up storefronts. Graffiti climbing the walls like ivy from hell. Names, curses, and that same scrawl. Officer needs assistance. With my number carved deep enough to draw blood if you traced it. A shadow detaches at the far end, elongated, moving with a gait that's almost human but off rhythm, like a film reel skipping frames. Police. Hold it right there. I call. Beam from the mag light slicing the fog. The figure pauses, then darts left into a narrower cut-through. I pursue, curiosity burning brighter than fear. Who is this? Crowe again, or Anna's echo? My boots splash through puddles that reflect fractured moonlight, the alley narrowing to shoulder width, bricks scraping my sleeves. The shadow leads me deeper, turning corners that shouldn't exist in this grid. Alleys folding into themselves like a precinct map redrawn in nightmare ink. Fog chokes the air, damp and textured, clinging to my face like wet gauze. I key the mic mid-stride. 14 in pursuit. Alley network off Vine. Suspect heading east. Static answers, thick and mocking. Then Anna's whisper filters through. Catch him. He's you. Fear surges now, adrenaline sharpening every sense. The distant wail of a siren that might be real, the cold metal of my badge pressing against my chest through the vest, handcuffs jingling on my belt like a warning bell. The shadow slows ahead, silhouetted against a dead-end wall topped with razor wire. I close the gap, breath pluming white in air that's dropped to freezing. Up close, it's not a man but a reflection, mine, cast on the fog itself, like a mirror hung in midair. But it blinks out of sync. I hold still, it winks. I raise my arm. It lowers its own a beat late. Mythic dread, a doppelganger suspect, a shadow self that patrols its own crimes. The reflection smiles when I don't, teeth gleaming too white in the beam. You're late, it says, voice my own but echoed, as if bouncing from the warehouse. The archives, all at once. I step closer, hand outstretched. The soot key pulses hot, and touch the fog mirror. My fingers pass through, cold vapor parting like water, but the reflection grabs back, grip iron on my wrist. Not vapor, solid. It pulls, gentle at first, then insistent, drawing me forward. I yank away, stumbling back on loose cobblestones. The reflection follows, stepping out of the fog into 3 dimensions, coat materializing from mist, face sharpening into mine. Same stubble, same tired eyes, but the badge on its chest reads 87, the year etched in brass. Fear crests to panic. I draw the Glock, aim center mass. Stand down. It laughs, my laugh, hollow, and mirrors the motion, its weapon a shadowed twin of mine. Shoot if you must, it says. But the case loops. The alley walls close in, bricks groaning like old files shifting, fog thickening to hide escape routes. I fire a warning shot skyward, crack echoes endless, and the reflection flinches but doesn't fall. Instead, it dissolves partially, arm fading to smoke while the torso remains. Revelation breaks through the terror. This isn't pursuit, it's inheritance. My grandfather's shadow, passed down like the badge, chasing its own tail through time. The merged files words flash in my mind. You were there. 1987. And I see it. Him in this same alley, decades back, facing his own echo, the cycle starting with Anna and Crowe. I think some crimes were never meant to be solved. They echo to remind us we're all suspects in the end. The reflection advances, handcuffs appearing in its free hand, clicking open with a sound like radio static. Time to close the file. It whispers, close enough I smell my own aftershave on it. I bolt, reversing through the labyrinth, turns blurring in the fog. The shadow pursues, footsteps matching mine, but always a half beat behind, out of sync. I burst onto Vine, lungs burning, and dive into the squad car. The engine roars awake. I peel out, mirror showing the alley mouth empty now, no figure emerging. But in the rear view, my own reflection lags, blinks when I don't, smiles faintly as I gasp for air. The radio hums. Pursuit terminated. Return to scene. Anna's voice, soft as fog. I crank the volume down, but it seeps through the speakers anyway. The soot veins on my arm extend further, inching toward my elbow, a black lattice like alley maps. I drive aimlessly for blocks, city lights smearing through the rain-streaked glass. The clock holds at 0:07, stubborn as a stuck tape. Another call will come. I feel it in the static, in the keys burn. The merged file rustles on the seat, pages turning on their own to a new entry. My pursuit report, time-stamped 1987, signed with my grandfather's hand. But the ink's fresh, my own pen's blue. I slam on the brakes at a red light, heart hammering. In the side mirror, the reflection watches from the back seat, patient, waiting for the next turn. I ease forward as the light changes, fog parting briefly to reveal the sealed crime scene ahead. The old murder site from the file, taped off since '87, city legend says it's cursed, doors welded shut after too many false alarms. The radio confirms. Unit 14, disturbance at 421 Elm. Sealed location. That same faint static from the dispatch radio builds again, carrying the echo of out-of-sync footsteps trailing behind. The city's closing in, alleys connecting like veins in the soot mark, pulling me deeper into the shift that never ends. The squad car's tires whisper over the wet pavement as I navigate toward 421 Elm, the sealed murder site from the file, its address burning in my mind like the soot veins now creeping past my elbow. The fog hasn't lifted. If anything, it's denser, turning street signs into ghostly suggestions and muffling the distant sirens that should be routine but now sound like warnings from another shift. The merged file on the seat rustles again, pages flipping without wind, settling on the 87 murder report. For 121 Elm, a derelict brownstone where Anna was found, not burned but frozen, her body arranged like a question mark on the parlor floor. Crowe claimed he stumbled in during a storm, found her already gone, but the evidence pointed to ritual, symbols and blood, now faded to legend. The site's been taped off ever since. Doors chained, windows boarded, a no-go even for urban explorers. City ordinance seals it annually, a realistic anchor in bureaucracy. Annual inspections log no entry, no disturbances, yet rumors persist of lights flickering inside at midnight. I park across the street, under a canopy of skeletal oaks that drip rain like leaky faucets. The brownstone hulks there, 3 stories of crumbling Victorian, facade cracked like old skin. Yellow tape flutters from the wrought iron fence, do not enter signs bleached by time. Curiosity draws me out of the car. Why here? Why now? The same pull that led me to Caldwell, to the archives, to that fog mirror. I grab the mag light, leave the file behind. Its warmth lingers on my thigh like a handprint. The gate creaks open at my touch, chain padlock hanging loose though it should be welded. No fresh cuts. The metal's rusted through, as if years passed in minutes. I step onto the path, boots sinking into overgrown weeds that clutch like fingers. The front door's ajar, a sliver of black inviting me in. I push it wider, hinges groaning a low note that echoes up the stairwell. Inside, the air's stale, heavy with dust and something metallic, blood, old but potent, like opening an evidence bag from cold storage. My beam sweeps the foyer, wallpaper peeling in strips, revealing plaster etched with faint symbols, circles, and lines that match the file sketches. Footsteps upstairs, not mine, soft, pacing, like someone waiting for a cue. Police. Announce yourself. My voice falls flat, absorbed by the walls. The pacing stops, then resumes, drawing me to the stairs. Each tread creaks under my weight, wood splintering softly, as if the house resents the intrusion. The parlor's on the second floor, door hanging crooked. I enter, light cutting through motes that dance like ash in a fire's updraft. The floorboards are warped, stained dark in the center. A sprawling blotch where Anna lay, blood long dried, but somehow glistening fresh under my beam. Fear settles in now, a cold weight in my chest, tightening with each breath. The stain shifts as I watch, edges curling like smoke, reforming into shapes. Letters, jagged and red, spelling, late again. Only I can read it. The file mentioned witnesses saw nothing but smears. Mythic curse, a crime scene that writes its own warnings, blood as ink for the living. I kneel, touch the edge, wet, warm, transferring to my fingertip like paint. The soot veins on my arm respond, black lines writhing to match the letters, burning as they align. The room chills abruptly, breath visible, frost rhyming the window panes despite the rain outside. Shadows gather in corners, coalescing into forms. Anna by the fireplace, gown pristine. Crowe in the armchair, wrists bound in rusted cuffs that drip illusory blood. They don't speak, but the bloodstain does, letters dissolving and reforming. Grandpa knew. Revelation pierces the fear. My grandfather sealed this place, his signature on the ordinance. But the file hints he entered alone one night, emerged changed, whispering about messages in the stains. The house groans, settling like a sigh, and the stairwell echoes with descending footsteps, heavy, deliberate, out of sync with any living rhythm. I back toward the door, Glock drawn, beam jittering. The shadows advance. Anna's hand extends, palm up, soot falling from her fingers like snow. Crow's eyes socket deep, reflecting my face back distorted. Finish it. The stain spells now, blood bubbling up fresh, pooling toward my boots. I fire into the floor. Crack splits the air, with splintering, but the stain absorbs the bullet, rippling like water, letters undisturbed. The house shudders, dust sifting from the ceiling, and the windows rattle as if wind howls inside. Fear peaks, a vice on my lungs. I bolt down the stairs, taking them two at a time, doors slamming behind me without touch. Outside, rain lashes my face, gate clanging shut as I stumble to the squad car. The brownstone's windows glow faintly now, curtains parted though none exist, silhouettes watching. I slide behind the wheel, engine coughing to life, and glance at the merged file. Pages turn to the Elm report, new words inked in blood red. My name, timestamp 007, 1987. The soot veins throb, fully mapped now, a web from palm to shoulder, symbols mirroring the parlor's etchings. I think some crimes were never meant to be solved. They stain us instead, marking the patrol as eternal. The radio awakens as I drive away. Unit 14, loop complete. Dawn approaching. Anna's whisper, laced with Crow's gravel, static building like laughter. But the sky remains ink black, no hint of light on the horizon. The clock mocks me at 007, frozen. Another disturbance call crackles through, back to Caldwell, the starting point. The city's layout shifts in my mind, streets curving into circles, alleys feeding back to Elm, to Vine, to the precinct basement. The fog presses against the windows, textured like breath on glass. And in the rear view, my reflection blinks independently again, smiling with teeth too sharp. I grip the wheel tighter, veins pulsing under skin, guiding me like a compass to the warehouse. The rain intensifies, drumming code on the roof. Late, late, late. Sirens wail distantly, perhaps my own echo from earlier loops. The house on Elm fades in the mirror, but its stain lingers on my fingertip, warm and spreading. Revelation deepens. This shift isn't mine alone. It's a family curse, grandfather to grandson, crime scene to crime scene, until the blood writes the end. That same faint static from the dispatch radio swells once more, carrying the parlor's groan, the blood's whisper, promising the cycle's close, or its endless repeat. The warehouse on Caldwell materializes through the fog like a bad memory resurfacing, its brick facade unchanged since my first call hours or minutes ago. The squad car's headlights pierce the chain link again, catching the same flapping yellow tape, the same Primark plywood peeled back just enough for entry. The clock on the dash holds firm at 007, a stubborn sentinel refusing to tick forward, as if the city's timepiece jammed on this eternal loop. Rain has eased to a drizzle, tapping lightly on the hood like fingers drumming impatience. I kill the engine, the silence rushing in thick and textured, broken only by the distant hum of a generator somewhere in the industrial sprawl. Curiosity draws me out once more. Why back here? The radio's last whisper promised closure, but the soot veins now snaking across my chest under the shirt burn with doubt. A map that's led me in circles. I step from the car, boots crunching the same gravel path, the air carrying that charred plastic ghost stronger now, mingled with something new, ozone, like after a lightning strike. Police procedure kicks in automatically. Log the return, secure the perimeter, but my hand hesitates on the mic. Unit 14, back at Caldwell. Investigating recurrence. Static replies, that same faint hum from dispatch swelling into a chorus of whispers. Anna's childlike tone, Crowe's gravel, my grandfather's faint baritone layered beneath, all reciting the 87 report like a litany. The warehouse door creaks open an inch on its own, inviting. I draw the mag light, beam steady despite the tremor in my grip, and slip inside. The conveyor skeletons loom unchanged, pigeon droppings fresh as if no time passed. But the pinging returns, ping, ping, now synchronized with my pulse. I follow it deeper, past the scorched office door, the graffiti devil face whose scratched-out eyes seem to follow me. The temperature drops, breath pluming white, frost feathering the machinery, though the drizzle outside is warm. Footsteps echo ahead, light and quick, bare feet on concrete, circling the loading dock. Fear edges in, coiling tighter than before. This isn't repetition, it's amplification, each loop deepening the dread. I swing the beam. The small prints in the soot again, leading to the wall, vanishing. But now they multiply, branching like the veins on my skin, forming a web that spells my name in delicate impressions. The wall shimmers, brick rippling like water under a thrown stone. Anna emerges, not stepping through but materializing layer by layer. Gown first, then pale limbs, finally those black eyes locking on mine. She's not alone. Crowe follows, spectral cuffs dangling, his form translucent, overlapping hers like a double exposure on old film. Mythic trap, a time loop patrol, where dawn deceives and midnight stack endless, suspects and victims fused in eternal testimony. You've come back, Anna whispers, voice inside my skull, while Crowe's lips move in sync, as he did. As you will. My grandfather's shadow flickers behind them, badge glinting 87 brass, face weary as in the photos I'd found in his attic after the funeral. I back away, heel catching the same pallet, but this time it crumbles under me, wood splintering to dust as if aged decades in seconds. The flashlight beam stutters, bulb dimming to a glow, casting their faces in eerie dashboard-like hues. Red, blue, red. Fear surges to a peak, a wave that drowns rationale. I fire the Glock into the air, crack echoes infinite, bouncing off walls that seem to stretch further each rebound. They don't flinch. Anna raises her hand, soot falling from her palm, and the prints on the floor animate, rising like smoke tendrils, coiling around my ankles, cold and binding as handcuffs. Crowe's laugh rasps. The call's yours now. My radio bursts to life on its belt clip. Unit 14, respond to 819 Caldwell. Possible 10 to 103. My own voice, recorded from the start, looping back. Revelation crashes through the panic. This isn't a haunting. It's inheritance, a familial curse coded in case files and radio waves, where each generation patrols the unsolved, trapped until they pass the static to the next. My grandfather sealed elm, whispered warnings in his sleep, died with the clock at 0:07 on his nightstand. Now me, circling the same scenes, the soot map complete across my torso, a tattoo of the city's underbelly. I think some crimes were never meant to be solved. They exist to bind us, turning officers into eternal witnesses. The tendrils tighten, pulling me toward the wall, Anna's sad smile inviting. "Join the shift," she says. Crowe's hand extends, key-shaped scar on his palm mirroring mine. I wrench free, boots slipping on animated soot, and bolt for the exit. Plywood scrapes my arms raw, rain hitting like needles as I dive into the squad car. The door slams. I key the ignition, tires spinning gravel into the fog. In the rear view, the warehouse recedes, but Anna and Crowe stand under the sodium lamp, joined by my grandfather's silhouette, all waving in unison. The clock flips, not forward, but back to 0:06, a cruel rewind. The radio hums, "Dawn's deception, officer." Loop again. Static swells, carrying echoes of every call. The warehouse ping, archive rustle, alley footsteps, parlor groan, all harmonizing into a symphony of dread. I drive blind into the fog, streets blurring, the city folding like the merged files pages. Lights from diners and tenements smear past, faces in windows watching, truckers, shadows, reflections that blink out of sync. The soot veins burn white-hot now, a circuit completing, and I feel the pull, back to precinct, to alleys, to elm, endless. But a fragile calm whispers underneath. Perhaps acceptance breaks the loop, or surrender. I ease off the gas, let the car coast. The fog parts briefly, horizon teasing gray, but it seals again, midnight reclaiming. The radio sighs final. End of watch. Question, not statement. I thumb the mic. Voice cracked. 14 signing off. Lie or wish. The clock holds. The shift endures. The rain fades to a murmur outside the squad car window, open just a crack to let in the cool, fog-laced air that carries the faint scent of distant industry and forgotten fires. I lean back in the seat, the leather creaking softly under my weight, the dashboard glow dimming as if the battery's finally giving out. The radio static hums low now, not insistent but resigned, a white noise blanket settling over the night's echoes, Anna's whisper dissolving into wind, Crowe's gravel smoothing to silence, my grandfather's shadow retreating into the archives of memory. Papers from the merged file flutter once on the dash, stirred by a breeze that slips through the crack. Then still, their inked warnings blurring like tears on a report.